Devyn McCar followed the Whittier River through the rainforest in southern Colombia. Dusk was approaching, so he would need to find a spot to set up camp for the night. He eventually found a nice thicket near the river, but the sound of a powerful motorboat disrupted his peace. It echoed through the valley. Fearing the worst, Devyn packed up his gear and prepared to make himself scarce. His curiosity, however, sent him closer to the river. After a few minutes, Devyn heard the sound of weaker motors and soon saw 3 boats coming from down the river. Each boat had 3 men, armed with rifles. They were drug traffickers. They passed Devyn's hiding spot without a glance in his direction. But then, one of the boats steered next to the shore on the opposite bank and dropped off 2 men. They hid just inside the foliage. Then the boat with the raucous motor came around the bend. It was a Soccer, a special operations craft, riverine. The boat was powered by water jet propulsion and designed for shallow water missions. The craft was filled with armed men wearing military-style fatigues and body armor. The 3 small boats stopped soon after. They were clearly out-horsepowered, and now the men on the shore would have a clean shot at the military craft as it passed. The men in the small boats raised their weapons over their heads as if to surrender. The military men had their guns trained on the drug traffickers. One of the team was manning a mounted .50 caliber rifle. The mount had a steel protection plate that swiveled with the gun, offering some protection to the shooter. This man dropped first. Devyn flinched as he heard the first of several shots come from the opposite shore. The automatic fire was hitting the military team from the rear. The man behind the mounted gun dropped immediately as blood spurted from his neck. Another man had his weapon shot from his grasp, and he ducked to retrieve it, and for cover. The traffickers used the distraction to open fire with their own rifles. It was chaos for the military team, but they wasted no time returning fire. The driver of the boat ducked under the line of fire and went for the mounted gun. The gunmen on shore needed to be taken out, but then he distinctly heard shots from the opposite shore. No more fire came from the jungle. In fact, 2 men were collapsing face first into the river. The boat's captain returned his focus forward and fired a burst from the .50 caliber into the chest of one of the gunmen in the boats. It sent him flying backwards. Blood spurted from his chest. The other 2 military experts had taken out the rest of the traffickers. At least, that's how it appeared. Devyn knew it was an ambush, but he had mixed feelings on whether or not he should help. He would give up his position. Once he saw the first man in the military craft drop, his decision was made. He trained his sniper rifle on one of the men on shore. They were protected from any fire they would take from the military craft, but they were exposed to Devyn. He fired twice and sent 2 .243 caliber slugs into their skulls. Then he switched his sights to the men in the boats. He took one of them out with a shot to the head. The result was 3 less guns trained on the military unit. Devyn didn't have any more clear shots, and he didn't need them. The unit was well trained. The drug dealers were dead. He began to creep through the tangles to leave the area. He heard the Soccer fire up its engines and turn in his direction. It slowed when it got near his position. This is it, Devyn thought to himself, prepared to run as soon as he made it through the narrow jungle, but suddenly he stopped dead in his tracks. He heard a voice over a bullhorn coming from the military boat.
"Sniper, I don't know who you are, but thank you. You saved some men today. I have 2 wounded, or I would personally come up and shake your hand. I'm U.S. Navy Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman. Look me up. I'll buy you a beer sometime."
With that, the boat slowly increased to a comfortable speed and disappeared behind the bend from which it had come. Devyn's heart was racing. Too close for comfort. What was I thinking, taking those shots? His heart rate decreased at about the same speed as the diminishing sound of the Soccer's motor in the distance. He was sure of one thing. He wouldn't be staying here tonight. He crept along the outskirts of the jungle to make better time. When darkness fell, he kept going.